In life, we all encounter obstacles, and those obstacles come in all different shapes, sizes, and forms. The question is, how do we handle those obstacles? Do we attack them head on, or do we allow them to make us quit? Welcome to the No Quit Living podcast, where we aim to motivate and inspire listeners to never give up on themselves, their dreams, or their goals. We will interview successful people from all walks of life as they share their no-quit stories when they had the choice to give up or give in, but they didn't. We thank you for listening, and we hope to be that jolt of positivity as you go for your greatness. Welcome to episode number 155 of the No Quit Living podcast. I'm your host, Christopher J. Worth, and today's theme of the day happens to be quotes, questions, morning routines, books, and comfort zones. Our quote of the day comes to us from Ralph Waldo Emerson. The only person you are destined to become is the person you decide to be. Today's episode is sponsored by the good people over at West Fair Communications, who publish the Westchester County Business Journal and the Fairfield County Business Journal. These newspapers do a wonderful job in covering all aspects of the business world within two of the most influential markets in the New York metropolitan area. You can also take advantage of their daily news feeds, which keep track on the companies and thought leaders in these important regions. For more information, take a look at www.westfaironline.com. Trust me, once you start reading, you won't quit. It is a complete honor to bring you today's episode. Over the past year and a half, I've had the privilege of interviewing and speaking to some absolutely fascinating individuals. I've found myself intrigued, amazed, interested, confused, and as a result from many of these interviews, I've questioned the reasons behind why I do what I do on a daily basis. Today we will touch upon some of the most interesting topics we have discussed in detail with some of our fascinating guests. I hope you enjoy today's episode. One thing I often mention or touch upon is how at No Quit Living, through our podcast, we are always looking to add value to our listeners. Whether you agree with some, none, or all of what our guests share with us, I always suggest the importance of keeping an open mind. It doesn't mean necessarily that you might change your opinion or think differently, but hopefully you fully listen to other people's perspectives, their stories, and their suggestions. As our number one objective has always been to motivate and inspire listeners to never give up on themselves, their goals, or their dreams. I challenge you today to be open, be willing to listen, be willing to learn, and push your mind to think. John C. Maxwell wrote a book titled Good Leaders Ask Great Questions. I think I completely missed both the simplicity as well as the importance of that title. While growing up and early on in school, I know I was always focused on answering the questions perfectly correct. This is what I was taught. This is how I studied on my own time. As I look forward from this point on with my own life, I'm now more focused on asking those great questions. Asking questions so I can find out not only the right answers, but more importantly, asking questions so I can find my answers. With the questions such as 2 + 2, there is only one right answer. However, on each episode, we try to ask our guests questions that don't have a right or wrong answer. For example, how do you define success? What does accountability mean to you? What does your morning routine consist of? What book or books have inspired you? And do you have a favorite quote? And what have you done to get out of your comfort zone? All very basic questions with significant answers. When it comes to quotes, I would like to share a few that I've enjoyed recently. It is better to be prepared for an opportunity and not have one than to have an opportunity and not be prepared. Whitney M. Young. Ever tried? Ever failed? No matter, try again. Fail again. Fail better. Samuel Beckett. The best revenge is massive success. Frank Sinatra. That which you do not hate, you will eventually tolerate. Malcolm X. Believe you can, and you're halfway there. Teddy Roosevelt. When it comes to books and recommendations from guests, this happens to be one of my most favorite questions, as I'm an avid reader myself and always interested in what other people are reading. This also happens to be a question that I've stolen and tweaked from my personal mentor, John C. Maxwell. I have a couple of book recommendations that have not been often mentioned or mentioned at all on our show. The Power of Now by Eckhart Tolle. The 5-Second Rule by Mel Robbins. Today Matters by John C. Maxwell. The Untethered Soul by Michael A. Singer. And My Morning Routine by Benjamin Spall and Michael Zander. The question I ask on almost every single episode is, do you have either a morning or a daily ritual that you swear by? I absolutely love that question, and the reason being is the answers are limitless. The most common responses are the following, and in no particular order: gratitude, journaling, reading, exercise, drinking a glass of water, and meditation. On 3 or 4 different episodes, the concept of a no cell phone zone has been mentioned. Another idea that has briefly been touched upon is taking ice-cold showers. The underlying theme with morning routines is very simple. How you start your day is how you win your day. So ask yourself this very simple question. How is it that you start your day? Is your routine set in stone, or are you open for and willing to experiment? When it comes to a comfort zone, a quote by Neil Donald Walsh always comes to mind. Life begins at the end of your comfort zone. What does your comfort zone look like? Do you do the same thing every single day? Do your workouts at the gym follow an exact pattern and identical routine? Are you adapting and looking to both learn and grow? Or are you simply content with as is? Personally, I'm not where I want to be in many areas of my life, nor have I come close to accomplishing all of my goals. I have not and won't ever succeed or go down as undefeated in every single area of my life. But I don't ever want to look back and ask myself the question, what if? Albert Einstein's definition of insanity is spot on. He says, insanity is doing the same thing over and over again, but expecting different results. Challenge yourself to grow. Push yourself past what you think are your limitations. It has been often said that the mind gives up way before the body does. Don't give up. Get out of your comfort zone. As we have on multiple occasions discussed the idea and concept of paying it forward, that is my very specific challenge for each of you today. If anything I've shared on today's episode inspired you, motivated you, or made you really and truly think, do something about it. Pay it forward for yourself as well as others. But no matter what, take action. I've heard different stories or tales how the richest place on earth happens to be graveyards. The reason being is this is where all the hidden treasures are buried. That company that was never started, an unfinished movie, that unwritten book, relationship or friendship that was never acted upon, that song that was never sung, and that conversation you always wish that you had. I challenge you right now, right here, to take action. Take one step today towards doing something out of your comfort zone. You might win, however you might lose, but if you don't try, you won't ever know. Put down your phone or your device, take action, and go for your greatness. And lastly, to our listeners, thank you. We truly appreciate your time, and we hope our episodes inspire you to keep on attacking life and never giving up. To quote Dr. Norman Vincent Peale, it's always too early to quit.